Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. Bit of a thought experiment.
You could say that. We're essentially attempting a kind of time travel.
Exactly, but with a charging cable.
Hmm.
We are crossing this huge chasm of history to take 8 of the most influential women from the Hellenic Roman period. We're talking queens, commanders, intellectual giants.
And we're asking a very specific question.
A very specific one. If they were alive today, which zero-emission electric vehicle would they choose? Okay, let's unpack this. Obviously, Queen Cleopatra never saw a battery, and Hypatia certainly wasn't consulting the cosmos about charging infrastructure.
Right.
But the core insight from our sources is this. The traits that made these women so powerful, their astuteness, their independence, their strategic thinking, and their thirst for innovation, they align so perfectly with the modern EV movement.
It's more than just a fun game of what if. It's a study in timeless values.
So our mission is to find the perfect, high-tech, zero-emission match for some of history's most influential strategists, rulers, and thinkers.
And you have to remember, these figures were radical innovators in their own time. They were always adopting the most cutting-edge tech available, whether that was a new type of warship or a new way to calculate something. They would not be satisfied with the status quo today.
No way.
They'd appreciate the themes of modern EVs. Powerful, sustainable innovation, incredible efficiency, and, of course, the potential for autonomous power. These are all qualities that really reflect their own leadership and foresight.
So where do we start?
I think we have to start with the navigators, the masters of strategy and urban agility.
And that deep dive begins with the princess who practically defined connectivity itself, Ariadne.
Ariadne, the Cretan princess, of course. She's famous for giving Theseus that guiding thread, the clue that let him navigate the labyrinth and defeat the Minotaur.
So that thread is the ultimate symbol of strategic thinking and connectivity.
Absolutely. So her modern appeal to an EV is pretty clear. She needs absolute precision. She demands smart navigation and zero emissions, but maybe not for environmental reasons initially.
But for stuff.
Exactly. For quietly and efficiently escaping modern urban labyrinths, or maybe just complex palace corridors, without drawing any attention.
Based on that need for tight quarters agility, the sources point us to a surprisingly compact choice.
The Renault Twingo E-Tech.
Hold on, the Twingo? Ariadne was royalty. She lived in the Palace of Minos.
I know.
Wouldn't she choose something a bit more, bespoke? Something conceptually elegant, like a classic BMW i3, to reflect her status?
You'd think so, right? But the sources argue her primary goal in that moment wasn't status, it was utility.
It was a tool.
It was a tool. The Twingo E-Tech is distinctively optimized for city maneuvering. It's one of the only compact city cars with a rear-wheel drive platform, which gives it an absolutely tiny turning circle.
Ah, I see.
That agility, the ability to pivot and turn on a dime, just like navigating a maze, that's the true analogy to her guiding thread. It's precision, not luxury.
That makes a lot of sense. A tool for success, not a vehicle for display.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving from that mythological navigator to the philosophical heart of Athens, we arrive at Aspasia.
Aspasia, companion of Pericles in 5th century BC Athens. But really, she was so much more. A fierce intellectual, a rhetorician, so influential in all the philosophical circles.
She wasn't born Athenian, but she commanded the city's attention with her mind.
And she lived for that intellectual engagement, right? She held court, she conducted these debates, so the EV appeal for her is all about connected intelligence and empowerment.
And quiet. The vehicle itself has to be as sophisticated as her rhetoric, but also silent to let the thinking happen.
And her match is the Fiat 500.
Okay, that I can see.
It's undeniably chic, right? It reflects that sophisticated Athenian lifestyle she adopted. But it's really chosen for its intellectual urban toolkit. The 500e is designed for city circuits.
And the sources point to a specific feature she would love, don't they?
They do. Sherpa mode. It intelligently manages energy consumption to make sure she always has enough range to get to her next debate. It's a metaphor for her own intellectual resource management.
I love that connection. It's a silent, mobile salon. And that shift from intellectual maneuvering in the city to commanding respect across entire continents, that feels like a perfect bridge to our next section.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the figures we're about to discuss, they operated on a totally different scale, an imperial scale.
They didn't just need a car.
No, they needed a statement, a strategic asset that matched their ambition, whether that was through extreme luxury or just raw battlefield performance.
And you can't start a conversation about regal power and strategic genius without talking about Cleopatra. The Hellenistic queen of Egypt, polyglot, genius, and someone who just loved innovative displays of luxury.
Those ornate silver-oared ships sailing up the Cydnus River. She was a master of spectacle, but also a ruthless political realist. She would be attracted by EV efficiency, but only if it came wrapped in a truly regal, technologically superior package.
And she'd see clean energy as
An echo of the Nile itself, the source of her wealth, her power, that clean, powerful flow.
So the obvious, and maybe the only ambitious EV match for the Queen of the Nile, has to be the Tesla Model S Plaid.
It's really the optimal choice for her. I mean, it offers that overwhelming instant power 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. She could metaphorically sprint like a pharaoh among modern competitors.
But there's a deeper connection there, right? It's not just the speed.
Not at all. It's the adaptability. She was constantly shifting alliances, remodeling her political image. The Plaid's relentless over-the-air software updates, improving performance and features instantly, that mirrors her own political agility. She refused to ever be a static target.
That is a great point. The car is constantly innovating, just like she had to. Okay, next up, let's talk about the original Fierce Mother, the charismatic commander, Olympiade di Epiro.
Mother of Alexander the Great.
None other.
Olympiade was an ambitious Macedonian queen, known for her powerful charisma and for leading these mystic cults, often involving snakes. She demanded a power that was silent, yet overwhelming, almost supernatural.
So that dynamic silent force means her ride has to be just as audacious. She'd be drawn to something like regenerative energy, mirroring her own history of, seemingly divine conquests.
Yes, and her journey has to feel like a performance. Silent until that moment of explosive acceleration.
And the sources suggest.
The Kia EV6 GT. It's sporty, a little unexpected and audacious. That instantaneous all-wheel drive electric acceleration is perfect for a heroine making epic crossings. It just captures her magnetic personality.
A disruptor on the road, just like she was a disruptor of the Macedonian court. I like it. Okay, our final figure in this high-octane section is Artemisia di Caria, the tactical admiral.
A Persian Hellenic queen who commanded her own fleet, famous for her brilliant naval tactics during the Battle of Salamis in the 5th century BC. She knew how to cut through the noise of battle.
And those naval tactics, they translate perfectly into strategic driving, don't they?
They really do. Artemisia would appreciate electric agility and the strategy required to optimize a recharge. It's like battle maneuvers, timing your movements, timing your resupply perfectly.
So she needs speed, but also control. Instant torque to execute maneuvers. That brings us, I think, to the Porsche Taycan.
Exactly. It's elegant, it's high performance, and critically, it's built on an 800-volt architecture.
Which means what in tactical terms?
It allows for lightning-fast recharging and sustained performance. She would see that 800-volt system as the ultimate tactical advantage. You minimize downtime resupply, and you maximize time in operation, battle.
She could speed precisely through modern fleets of traffic with the same control she commanded her triremes.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We're moving now from tactical power and luxury to a different kind of power. One derived not from armies, but from knowledge, resilience, and sheer endurance.
These are the pillars of the ancient world.
And we begin with a figure whose power was purely intellectual, Hypatia of Alexandria.
A philosopher, an astronomer, a mathematician in the 4th and 5th centuries AD. She invented astronomical tools and used pure rationality to challenge dogmas in a time of, well, great upheaval.
So her EV appeal has to be rooted in data and technology. She would adore advanced computing, clean energy, anything aligned with her scientific thirst. She needs a car that doesn't just drive fast, it needs to think fast.
And her match, according to the sources, is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N.
Okay, another interesting choice.
It's high-tech, built on that advanced eGMP platform. The ultra-fast charging is crucial, of course. A mind like hers can't waste time. But the sources highlight a different feature, vehicle-to-load, or V2L.
What's that?
It means Hypatia could use the car not just for transport, but as a mobile, high-capacity power bank. She could run her scientific instruments, her telescopes, her computational devices, anywhere. The car becomes a traveling laboratory.
Wow. Okay, for the libraries of Alexandria, let's head to the mountains of Sparta and meet Cleopatra.
A Spartan queen known for her warrior spirit, her stoicism, and her readiness for just profound sacrifice for the Hellenistic homeland.
Cleopatra is all about endurance and robustness. She voluntarily went into exile in Egypt, handing over her children as collateral to ensure her husband's reforms succeeded.
She wouldn't care for vanity at all. She would care for capability and reliability under duress.
So she needs something tough that can handle rugged terrain and long missions without needing dirty fuel. And our sources put her in the definitive Spartan choice,
It has to be the Rivian R1S.
the electric SUV.
It's an adventurous, no-nonsense electric SUV. It represents modern resilience and true utility. We connect her stoic endurance to the R1S's quad-motor architecture, which gives it ultimate reliability and torque in any condition.
And it mirrors her own journey, right?
Perfectly. Its ability to act as a true off-grid vehicle, managing its massive battery to go anywhere for extended periods, that mirrors her own journey of sacrifice and self-sufficiency far from home. It's pure, unwavering utility.
Finally, we turn to the diplomat of transition, Galla Placidia, a Roman empress in the 4th and 5th centuries AD.
She governed with immense diplomacy, symbolizing that difficult, late ancient transition, and she was pivotal in the founding of Ravenna.
Her life was spent navigating the decay of the Western Roman Empire. She was kidnapped, married to a Gothic king, returned to rule as a regent. Her focus was on legacy, on continuity amidst constant change.
So she would embrace the EV concept for its promise of a clean and connected imperial legacy, ensuring what was left of the empire was managed sustainably, gracefully.
She needs a car that conveys luxury, space, and a silent sense of authority across vast distances. Quiet power.
She's perhaps imagining a diplomatic trip from her power base in Ravenna all the way to Constantinople to meet her relatives in the east.
For that, she chooses the Lucid Air.
It's the ultimate diplomatic transport. Luxurious, immensely spacious, but the key feature is its range.
Regal autonomy.
That's what we're calling it, yes. Regal autonomy. It sets records for how far an EV can travel silently on a single charge. This ensures her travel is uninterrupted, serene, and conveys absolute authority over logistics. Just what an empress managing a vast, complicated empire would demand.
So what does this all mean? When you look across this whole collection of women, from the mythological guide to the scientist, the queen, the diplomat, there's this underlying drive for innovation, power, and clever efficiency.
It's a thread connecting them all to modern technology.
They always chose the most advanced tool they could find to fulfill their ambition.
It just highlights how traits like strategic thinking, intellect, ambition, they're truly timeless indicators of who embraces cutting-edge advancements. They were disruptors in their time, commanding triremes, building libraries. Today, they'd be demanding sustainable technology that enhances their capabilities and secures their legacy.
And the fact that our sources pair all of them with zero-emission vehicles, that suggests something profound about how we define authority today.
Right.
True power isn't just measured by speed or luxury anymore. It's measured by environmental responsibility and foresight, the commitment to a future legacy.
It really makes you wonder.
It does. If these women, who were used to just opulent, unlimited resources, if they prioritized sustainable power, what modern EV would a historically rapacious figure like Julius Caesar or Alexander the Great choose?
That's the question.
Would their choice prioritize raw, unsustainable speed, or would they, too, finally recognize the foresight and enduring efficiency of the electric revolution?
I think that's the ultimate question for any modern leader, and for the modern consumer, too. Power is no longer defined just by consumption. It's defined by efficiency.
A question for you to mull over, maybe as you charge your own vehicle. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into history, mythology, and electric horsepower.
It was a fascinating ride.
It really was. And please, be sure to follow the channel. That way you won't miss whatever adventure we cook up next.